So first thing you're going to do, you're going to make a new project. All right, when you get in here, what I want you to do is I want you to use the architectural default template or the residential default template. All right, so to get to that, you have to hit browse. You're going to go down to where you see residential default. You're going to open up that template. That's where we're going to build our project. Okay? Once you get there, you're going to choose the site plan view to build your site. So first of all, obviously, make sure you're on your site plan view. When you get into your site plan view, we're going to go back to Google Earth. We're going to find our site. Okay? If you click and hold the middle mouse button, all right, you can kind of zoom around in 3D. For the view that I want you guys to use, you have to be locked in straight down from the top. Okay, so that's kind of how a site plan view is. You're straight down orthographically looking at the topography from the sky. Okay, so make sure you're locked in looking at the site perpendicular. Other than that, there's one other thing that's kind of important. So down here in the bottom right hand corner, there's a compass. All right, click on the compass one time and it's going to navigate, or it's going to orient the view so that you're looking at the site from the north. Okay? So now I can kind of see my site. I know where I have to build it, okay, as it's based on true north. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over my units. So I think we have to go settings. We got to change this over so it says units of measurement, feet and miles. Like I did it on my computer. I don't know that yours is going to be exactly the same, so I'm just pointing this out. Make sure you're in feet and miles. All right? And then what I'm going to have you guys do is use this little ruler tool. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of zoom in on your site. You want to be able to see everything that you want to include on that site plan. All right? And we got to go back to true north. So we have the road, have like a little walkway out front. I have the entire width of the property. There's like a little beach here, and then it goes into the water. All right, so if this is the site I'm going to choose, I'm going to take just my measurement tool. I'm going to draw one line on this piece of paper, or sorry, on the space on the screen, and we're going to make it like a good round number. So let's try to make it like 100 feet, and you can either go like vertically or you can go horizontally, but we're going to try to just make that like a round number. If it's 200 feet, it's 200 feet. If it's 100 feet, it's 100 feet. But like a number that you can remember, and just try your best to make it either vertical or horizontal. Okay? So once I put that on there, that line stays. I'm going to go back to my snip tool. I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to hit new, and we're going to try to include like that entire screenshot, right? So what we have is the same image that was just up on the screen. We're looking at it straight down from the top. We can see that we can see where north is, all right? And then let's see, we also know that there's like this little yellow line over in the corner that's 100 feet. Okay? Once you get that picture, you're going to save it. I'm just going to call it like site. Yeah, we'll place that. We'll go back to Revit. In Revit, I'm on my site plan. I'm going to go up to this tab that says Insert, all right, so you can bring in additional file formats and stuff like that. We're going to go down to where it says Import Image. So if you think about it, a screen capture is just an image, right? We're going to import the image. We'll go back to where we saved it to. I always keep my stuff in the same place so I know where it's at. Like, so my pictures are in my pictures folder. I can search by date modified. It was the most recent one that said site. If I hit open and click in there it is. All right. Now listen, that 100-foot long line, all right, in Google Earth and in real life, that's 100 feet. Depending on how big this picture is, in Revit, it's probably not to the right size. Okay, can you guys understand that? Like if I move the picture around, or if I stretch out the picture, that 100-foot long line isn't a true 100 feet. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to scale the picture, or match the picture to like a real life 100 feet. So I could do that a bunch of different ways, but it's probably easiest if I just go back to the Architecture tab and I use the Model Lines tool. So if I use the Model Lines tool and I just draw out one line that's 100 feet long, all right, this line right here is like a true 100 feet, right? This line on the picture is supposed to be 100 feet. All right, so what we can do is we can just rescale the picture, just keep rescaling the picture to try to get the model line to match up with like that yellow line. Does that make sense? All right, so if I just keep scaling this down, eventually that yellow line is going to be the same length as this model line, and the picture that I then put into Revit is pretty close to scale. It's going to be within like probably 1 or 2 feet in real life. And I'm going to be able to just use my picture to kind of trace the site out. Okay, so that should be pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to use my move tool, and I'm going to move the entire picture from like one edge of that yellow line to an exact point on the back of the other yellow line. And then I'm just going to use these blue grips to adjust it. That's the easiest way. If you want to just sit there and like tweak that, that's cool. All right. Personally, I like to use this little scale tool. This is the one that's probably going to confuse people. If it's confusing to you, don't use it. I'm just going to say don't use it. All right. If you understand how this is going to work, you can follow along with it, then do it that way. I'm going to click the picture. We'll go to the scale tool. I'm going to pick like an anchor point. I'm going to pick the point at the end of the yellow line that's supposed to represent 100 feet, and we're just going to move that down to the actual end of 100 feet. And if you look at it right now, all right, that yellow line that we drew in the computer is effectively the same length as that little model line that we just drew. Okay? So now, if I start drawing lines that kind of represent where the site's going to go, all right, that says 322 feet from the road to like the edge of the beach to the water. All right, if we were to go back to Google Earth and let's just say measure a different line here from about the same place to right over here, like, you know, it's probably pretty close depending on like where we're actually measuring from. Like we're definitely within 10 feet across the entire property. Like that's not too bad. All right. So now you're set up where you have a picture in a brand new Revit file that you're going to use to build your vacation house. All right. The picture itself is set up, all right, at about the right scale that you could use to trace it. And that's all I'm going to have you guys do just now. Just get that picture in, get it to the right scale, and that could be it for today. Okay? Do your best to do that if you're done with your slides presentation. All right. I'm going to post that video up on YouTube so you can go back through it. Real quick, listen,